G'day Gear Junkies, Jason here. Over the last few years, I've had a number of requests from people to tell me to try out the Timmy by Paul Cochrane. So just to show that I actually listened to you guys, I went and got myself one, and we're going to try it out and see whether I should keep or sell. But before I do, if you like this kind of content and you haven't already, please help me out by subscribing. Here's my clean sound. I'm playing my PRS Custom 24 going into my Fender Deluxe Reverb. I'm not going to change guitar during this demo, but I am going to change amplifiers. So it's completely clean, a little bit of reverb from the amp. The only other pedal in my signal chain is my true bypass tuner. So here I have the Timmy. We've got volume and gain controls as you would expect. It also has bass and treble controls, which you'll notice I have all the way down, and I'll explain why in a minute. There's also a three-way toggle in the middle that gives us 3 different clipping options. The Timmy is what we call a transparent overdrive. So if you already like the sound coming from your guitar going into your amplifier and you just want to take that tone and make it a little bit grittier, that's what you would use a transparent overdrive. It's not going to fundamentally change your tone like many other overdrives do. The bass and treble controls on this pedal work a little bit differently. They're actually cut controls. So they're not going to add bass and treble, they're actually going to take it away. Now, with the gain up a bit like that, I actually think it probably needs to lose a bit of bottom end. Yeah, I think that sounds pretty good. So just for a reference, I'll go back to my clean sound. So it's not really changing my tone at all. So if I turn the treble and the bass controls all the way down, it actually sounds like I've rolled the tone completely off. All right, let's move the gain all the way up. I actually think with the gain up like that, it actually needs some tone shaping. I just think it sounds a little bit generic. So it's not super gainy, I'd say that's a medium overdrive. Up until this point, I've had the toggle switch set to the middle mode, which is the standard mode. It has the most headroom and it's symmetrically clipping. If I flick it to the up position, we're going to also get symmetrical clipping, but it's going to be a little bit more compressed. Yeah, I didn't really notice that much difference between those two modes. The bottom mode though is asymmetrical mode, so let's try that out. Now that's the most compressed, and I've actually noticed there was a bit of a drop in volume. If I'm honest, I didn't think there was a huge difference between those three modes. What I'm going to do now though is I'm going to put it back into the middle mode, and now I'm going to wind the gain down. And we'll try it like that. Yeah, that really does sound like my amplifier tone, just with a bit of grit. Definitely. To be perfectly honest, I'm not a huge fan of this pedal with the overdrive over halfway. I think it just sounds like any other overdrive pedal. But when you turn that gain down to less than halfway, you get much more of the guitar amp character, and it's just providing that little bit of grit which you can control. It's very touch responsive, so you can control it with how hard you're picking. So it's a very responsive overdrive. Now, I know that some of you are probably thinking, well, just take whatever overdrive and just turn the gain down, it should do that. Well, no. Very few overdrives actually have that really nuanced sound. They're either too compressed or they have too much in the way of tone shaping going on that's not going to give you a true representation of your guitar and amp sound. This, on the other hand, does that beautifully with just a little bit of gain. Beautiful. So now I'll give you a quick taste of what this sounds like with other amplifiers. So I'm going to use my Vox AC30 on the normal channel. It has Celestia and Arnico Blue speakers. I'm going to use the same mics. So now I'm going to switch over to my Marshall DSL-40. Now I'm going to play an example, and I'm going to play it through all three of the amplifiers with the pedals set the same for each, and we'll see how different it sounds through each amplifier. I really like how this pedal retains the character of each amplifier. The Paul Cochrane Timmy has been around in some form for the last 20 or so years. It's a smaller version of a much larger pedal called the Tim, which is one of Chris Buck's all-time favourite pedals. Both the Tim and the Timmy became must-have pedals of the boutique era from the 2000s into the 2010s, much in the same way the Analog Man King of Tone did. Now, as far as I know, Paul Cochrane makes all of these pedals himself, which means that there's not a huge amount of them out there. And it also means that if you want to buy one, it's going to cost more than your average Ibanez or Boss pedal. Out of all the overdrives that I have, this one has the least character. It's the most transparent. Now, that can be a good thing or a bad thing depending. So if you really love the tone that's coming from your guitar going into your amp and you don't want to change it too much, you just want a bit more grit, a bit more dirt, I think the Timmy is an excellent choice. However, as I did say, I don't actually like it with the gain past halfway. I just think that it sounds fairly generic. I think the best results I got from this were when I had the gain fairly light to medium. I think that's when you really maintain that character between the guitar and the amplifier. I really like the way the EQ works on this pedal. It's not going to add anything new or any artifacts into your tone because it's transparent. These are cut controls only, so they can only remove bass and treble. They won't add anything new into your sound, and I think that's a great idea. I love the fact that the bass control is pre-gain. That means that you can cut down on the amount of bass going into the drive circuit, and that is just going to clean your sound up. Now, if you didn't know, if you boost bass frequencies, or any frequencies for that matter, going into a drive pedal, it will kind of choose where that drive pedal mainly distorts. And bass frequencies can tend to be a bit muddy down low. So one of the best things about this is that you can sort of cut that going into the drive, and it really helps to clean it up a bit. The three-way toggle here in the middle doesn't do a whole lot. I mean, there's not a huge difference between the middle mode and the up mode. They're both symmetrical clipping. One's just a little bit more compressed. The asymmetrical mode is a little bit different, but I preferred it in the middle. It had the most headroom and it was the most touch responsive. So I could definitely put a pedal like this to good use. I hear that they stack really well, or they work well as a boost. So please let me know in the comments if you have one of these and how you like to use it. Also, let me know if you want me to get one of the little MXR Timmys and do a bit of a cheap versus expensive against this thing. So if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. You can support this channel by going to the Middle Aged Gear Junkie store and buying some merchandise, and you can also join the Middle Aged Gear Junkie Facebook page. Other than that, my name is Jason. Have a wonderful day. See you later.